IXL section V.5, division with exponents. Whenever you divide two terms with the same base, you can subtract the exponents. So we already learned that when you're multiplying two terms with the same base, you add the exponents. Here we see that when we divide two terms with the same base, you subtract the exponents. All right? So when it's multiplication, you add the exponents. When it's division, you subtract the exponents. So let's look at a few examples that I got here. All right, so here's our first example where we're dividing w to the fifth power by w to the second power. Both have the same base. All right, so if you look here, I spelled out what is w to the fifth power and what is w to the second power. So you can think about it this way. These w's cancel out, and look at what I'm left with. I'm left with w to the third power. That's why this system works, where you just subtract the exponents. 5 minus 2 equals 3. That's what I end up having when you cancel out these the w's on the top, a w on the top with a w on the bottom. Okay? So here's the rule. When you have the same base and you're dividing, you subtract their exponents. A minus b. You subtract the exponents. Now, I also wanted to look at one with negative exponents because you're going to have that in this IXL. Okay? It's also simple, but I just wanted to make sure you're not just subtracting the exponents without understanding why. So let's look at it. All right. First, here's my example. And I'll first explain it the quick way, which is you subtract the exponents to get this answer. All right. So if I subtract, look at it this way. If I subtract negative 3 minus negative 2, you got to remember that these two negative signs are going to make it a plus sign, are going to become a plus sign. So negative 3 minus negative 2 becomes negative 3 plus 2, which equals negative 1, which is what you have right here. All right? So make sure you don't mess up when you're subtracting integers. Okay? However, I also wanted to break it down the way I broke it down right here. Okay, so let's spell out what this looks like. First of all, remember that when you have negative exponents, I could get rid of the negative exponent by putting it in the opposite location. So if it's in the numerator, I put it in the denominator, and that gets rid of the negative sign in the exponent. And if it's in the denominator, I put it in the numerator to get rid of the negative sign in the exponent. Now, after that, I went ahead and I spelled out what is w to the second power and what is w to the third power. Okay, now if I do the same thing about canceling out, and I cancel out this pair of w's and this pair of w's, all right, because w divided by w equals 1 whole, so I could cancel that out. I'm left with, on the top, just a 1, and on the bottom, just 1 w. And if I write out my answer so that it's not in a fraction, my answer would be w to the negative 1 power. All right, because negative 3 minus negative 2 equals negative 1. All right, let me just explain all of that in Spanish and then we'll look at some examples. Okay, en español. Así que cuando están dividiendo y tienen exponentes, si las bases son igual, lo que se hace es restar los exponentes. 5 menos 2 me da este 3 y mantengo la misma base de W en este ejemplo. Ok, la razón que eso trabaja es, si miran aquí escribí lo que quiere decir W a la 5 y W a la 2. Ok, puedo cancelar los pares que son igual, un W con un W arriba con un W abajo. Ok, tengo dos pares así. Si lo cancelo, porque W dividido por W me da 1. Y 1 multiplicado por cualquier número me da ese mismo número. Así que lo puedo cancelar. Lo que me queda son estos 3 W's. Así que W a la 3. Aquí está la regla escrita. Si tienen la misma base y están dividiendo, simplemente se hace este exponente menos este exponente, que es lo que escribí aquí. Y aquí tengo un ejemplo con números negativos para que vean que también trabaja y entienden, y para que entiendan por qué trabaja. Ok, así que tengo la misma base, Primero, la manera rápido es simplemente restar los exponentes. ¿Ok? Negativo 3 menos negativo 2. ¿Ok? Eso me da dos signos negativos, uno al lado del otro, que se van a convertir al signo de sumar. Así que negativo 3 menos negativo 2 se cambia a negativo 3 más 2, que me da negativo 1. Y eso es el exponente que tengo escrito aquí. Ahora, otra manera de explicar por qué eso trabaja es si yo primero quito el signo negativo que está en los exponentes, que se hace poniendo el numerador en el denominador y el denominador en el lugar del numerador. Eso le quita el signo negativo. ¿Ok? Ahora sí escribo qué quiere decir W a la 2 y qué quiere decir W a la 3. ¿Ok? Y si otra vez cancelo los pares que tengo igual arriba y abajo, lo que me queda es 1 sobre W, que si lo escribo en una forma que no sea de fracción, sería W a la negativo 1. Ok, ahora vamos a mirar más ejemplos. All right, so let's look at these examples. They all have the same base, so I keep the same base and I just subtract the exponent. All right, they want me to express my answer using positive exponents. All right, so negative 4 minus negative 7 is going to become negative 4 plus 7, and that's going to give me positive 3. So my answer is w to the third power, w to the 3. All right, over here, I got to subtract. I'm going to keep my f and my exponents. I'm going to subtract them. So 2 minus 7 gives me negative 5. Okay, so, this one, let's talk about this one a second. So my answer is f to the negative 5. Let me get this out of the way. However, look at what it says here. They want you to express your answer using positive exponents. That means I can't put my answer like that. They want it only with positive exponents. So I got to get rid of the negative sign in the exponent by writing it as a fraction like that. This would be my answer. Okay, para esta en las direcciones dicen que tenemos que escribir la respuesta usando exponentes positivos. Así que no puedo escribir mi respuesta f a la negativo 5. Tengo que escribirlo sin el negativo en el exponente y para quitarlo lo tengo que poner en el denominador. Así que esta sería la respuesta. All right, let's look at this one. So I do negative 6 minus 5, which gives me negative 11. So my answer is q to the negative 11, but I need to write it using positive exponents. So my answer is going to be 1 over q to the 11th, okay? Just like the last one. Este también no se puede escribir con un exponente negativo, así que así escribí mi respuesta, 1 sobre q a la 11. All right, so this one, when I subtract the exponents, that one's easy. My answer will be k to the second power. Resto los exponentes y me da k a la 2. All right, some more examples, pretty much the same thing. I keep my same base and I do negative 2 minus negative 6. That's going to become negative 2 plus 6, which is going to equal positive 4. So my answer is s to the fourth power. Over here, I do 6 minus negative 2. Be careful you don't mess up on that. 6 minus negative 2 becomes 6 plus 2, which equals 8. So my answer is g to the 8th power. You could also think about it as if I got this g to the negative 2, I could put that g to the negative 2 as g to the positive 2 on the top, and that gets rid of the negative sign. So you could also think about it that way. Okay? Para esta también pueden pensar del g con el negativo 2. Si le quito el negativo en el exponente poniéndolo en el denominador, tendría lo siguiente: g a la 6 por g a la 2, que en total me da g a la 8. All right, so over here, negative 7 minus negative 9 is going to give you negative 7 plus 9, which is going to equal positive 2. That one's easy, so my answer is f to the second power. Over here, again, I subtract the exponents, so 4 minus negative 2 is going to give you 4 plus 2, which equals 6. So my answer is a to the 6th power. All right, I'm not going to do these. It's the same thing to save time. Now, you know what? I'll go through them real quick. All right, 9 minus 4 is 5. Over here, 6 minus negative 5 is 11. So my answer is g to the 11th power. Over here, negative 8 minus 0 equals negative 8. But I got to write my answer using positive exponents. So my answer is going to be 1 over f to the 8th power. And the last one here, 9 minus the 1 that's here, but it's invisible. 9 minus 1 equals 8. So my answer is q to the 8th power. Oh, I put a lot of examples here. Let me do these real quick too. All right, so on this one, 0 minus 1 equals negative 1. All right, so my answer is u to the negative 1, which I would write it like this if I'm writing my answer using positive exponents only. You could also think about it as, remember on the top, I said any non-zero number to the 0 power equals positive 1. So that's why my answer is 1 over u. Okay, aquí pueden pensar que en el numerador, cualquier número que no sea 0 con un exponente de 0 siempre te da 1. Así que esto sería 1 sobre u. Okay, on this one, 0 minus negative 4 is going to become 0 plus 4, which equals 4. So my answer is m to the 4th power. On this one, there's an invisible 1 there, so 1 minus 5 equals negative 4. So my answer is a to the negative 4 power, but I got to write it using positive exponents only, so my answer is 1 over a to the 4th power. And over here, negative 5 minus 0 equals negative 5. So my answer is n to the negative 5 power. But since I got to write it using positive exponents only, it'll be 1 over 9 to the 5th power. All right, now these are the types of questions that you're going to see in the challenge zone. So just like in the IXL, we did like this with multiplying exponents, you're going to do one letter at a time, okay? Just do one letter at a time, okay? Así que aquí, igual que cuando teníamos el IXL multiplicando con exponentes, se tiene que hacer una letra a la vez. Estos son los problemas que te da al final. Así que vamos a hacer una letra a la vez. So m to the 1st power over m to the negative 8 power. That's going to be 1 minus negative 8, which is 1 plus 8, which is 9. So that's the first part of my answer. Okay, by the way, it says we got to answer using positive exponents only. Tenemos que hacer la respuesta con exponentes positivos solamente. All right, now n is n to the 1 power over n to the 7 power. So 1 minus 7 equals negative 6. So I got n to the negative 6 power, which would be, you got to put it in the denominator to get rid of that negative. Se pone en el denominador para quitarle el signo negativo. So this is going to be my answer. N to the 9th power over n to the 6th power. All right, let's look at this one over here. The s's are s to the 1 power over s to the 1 power. Basically, they cancel out. If you subtract them, 1 minus 1 is 0. And any number to the 0 power equals 1. All right, so no matter how you think about it, they cancel out. Las s's se cancelan. Porque si lo resto, 1 menos 1 me da 0. Y cualquier número que no sea 0, con un exponente de 0, siempre va a ser igual a 1. Así que esos dos se pueden cancelar. All right, the t's, well, same thing with the t's. Lo mismo con la t. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I didn't see where that exponent was. The t's are t to the 1st power over t to the negative 3rd power. All right, so 1 minus negative 3 becomes 1 plus 3, which equals 4. So my answer is going to have t to the 4th power on the top. Oops. T to the 4th power on the top. Okay, now the u's, it's u to the 5th power over u to the 9th power. All right, so you subtract 5 minus 9. okay, and you're going to get u to the fourth power. Why did I write that line? You're going to get u to the negative fourth power. So that u is going to be on the bottom. Okay, and the v's 0 minus negative 2 equals positive 2. So this gives you v to the second power on the top. And that would be my answer. All right, let's look at this one. All right, the q's. You know what? Instead of rewriting everything, let's look at the q's. Okay, the q's have a 0 on the top and a negative 1 on the bottom. So 0 minus negative 1 equals positive 1. All right, so I got q to the first power on the top. The r's are the same, so they cancel out. Okay, las r's son igual, así que se cancelan. The s's are s to the fourth power over s to the negative 1 power, and 4 minus negative 1 becomes 4 plus 1, which equals 5. So I got s to the fifth power. And the t's, it's going to be 2 minus negative 8, which becomes 2 plus 8, which equals 10. So the t is t to the 10th power. All right, so that's my answer for that one. Over here, the r's, r to the 7 over r to the 4 equals r to the third. I subtract. And the s's cancel out. So that one was simple. There's my answer, r to the third power. And this is the last slide. I'll do these 4 examples, then that'll be it. Okay, este es los últimos 4 ejemplos. So the u's, u to the 0 over u to the negative 5. I do 0 minus negative 5, and that is going to become 0 plus 5, which equals 5. So I got u to the fifth power. The v's are going to be v to the negative 1 over v to the 0. Negative 1 minus 0 equals negative 1. So I got v to the negative 1 power, which equals 1 over v to the first power. So basically, the v is going to be on the bottom here. Let me explain this one in Spanish, just to do one in Spanish. Okay, para la letra P, es P a la 0 sobre P a la 15. Ok, tengo que restar los exponentes. Así que 0 menos 15 me da negativo 15. Así que esto me daría P a la negativo 15, que si lo escribo usando exponentes positivos solamente sería 1 sobre P a la 15. Así que mi respuesta tiene hasta ahora 1 sobre P a la 15. Ahora voy a hacer Q. Q es Q a la negativo 3 sobre Q a la 82. Resto los exponentes, negativo 3 menos 82, y eso me da negativo 85. Así que esto me da 1 sobre Q a la... espera, disculpen. Eso es lo que me da, pero para no confundir a nadie, eso me da Q a la negativo 85, que se escribe de esta forma para quitar el signo negativo del exponente, 1 sobre Q a la 85. Así que mi respuesta final es 1 sobre P a la 15 y Q a la 85. All right, over here, r to the 0 over r to the negative 4. I'm going to subtract the exponents. That's going to be 0 minus negative 4, which gives me 0 plus 4, which equals 4. So I got r to the fourth power. The s's, just look at them, it's 18 minus 1. So that it's going to be s to the 17 power. 18 menos 1 me da 17. So that one was easy. There's my answer for that one. Last one coming up. All right, let's look at the p's. El último ejemplo. I got p to the negative 84 power over p to the negative 48 power. All right, so I got to subtract the exponents. Tengo que restar los exponentes. Negative 84 minus negative 48. That's going to become negative 84 plus 48, which is going to give me, let me think for 1 second here. negative 36. So this gives me p to the negative 36 power, which equals 1 over p to the 36 power. So far my answer has 1 over p to the 36 power. Okay, okay, now let's look at the q's. For the q's, let me write it up here. I got q to the first power on the top and q to the negative 54 power on the bottom. All right, so I'm going to do 1 minus 54. No, I'm sorry, 1 minus negative 54. That's going to become 1 plus 54, which equals 55, okay? Esto sería 1 más 54, que te da 55. So this gives me q to the 55 power. So that's going to go on the top of my answer. Q a la 55, q to the 55th power. The r's are r to the 4th power over r to the 0 power. 4 minus 0 equals 4, so that just gives you r to the 4th power on the top. And the s's, I get s to the 1st power on the top, s to the negative 8th power on the bottom. 1 minus negative 8 is going to become 1 plus 8, which equals 9. So s to the 9th power goes on the top. And that's my answer. All right, guys, that concludes this lesson for IXL section V5. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys next class.